college student mental health rise in the past decade. After listening my speech, my audience will know why college student mental health rise in the past decade and how to solve its problem. Do college student mental health rise because of living costs, overly internet uses, and COVID-19? The solution is there. What is depression? Depression is constantly sad and feel emptiness. Depressed people think there is nothing better than death, so suicide thoughts appear. Sadness because of depression doesn't go away in a short period of time. According to Chronicle Online News, students difficult to adjust social life and academic life. Schools are forced to close because of COVID-19 and online classes are forced to open because of it, which make college student isolation in their room with computer. Okay, please raise your hand if you never feel sad. Everybody feels sad sometime, right? But sadness because of depression is different. If stay in your brain month and year, it is chronic sickness. According to Dr. Krab, Jeff, and friends said, social anxiety and depression cause significant impairment on college students because of overly internet uses. Okay, let us start talking about living costs. Since 1980, room and board charges have markedly increased. Likewise, living costs in private four-year college double more than 50,000 to more than 10,000. Depression is a serious mental health problem affected particularly in college students because of overly internet uses. College students stop their daily activity. Students use social media and try to post their favorite picture in the social media and try to get like as much as they can. If they don't get like as much as they want, they are depressed. Not only that, depression is second leading cause of death in 14 years and 24 years old. Moreover, according to research survey, more than 80% of students are affected because of COVID-19 through isolation, loneliness, depression, and stress. Stay-home order because of COVID-19 make student life miserable. As a solution, the government programs are divided by 4 categories: food, healthcare, housing, and financial aid assistance. These programs are more accessible than you think. The graded grants and financial aids are available for low-income students for 4 years of college. For overly internet uses, students will get quality of life if they limit internet uses. They will be more focused in whatever they do. Further, college students are more likely to encourage to get vaccine. So they will have better social life and they don't need to afraid to get the virus. In conclusion, what is depression? Depression is constantly sad and feeling emptiness. Depressive people think there is nothing better than that, so suicide does not appear. College student mental health rise in the past decade because of living cost problem, overly internet uses, and COVID-19. For the living cost problem, the government can help the student. And for overly internet uses, students should ban overly internet uses. And for COVID-19, students can have vaccine and they don't need to afraid to get the virus. Thank you.
You did really good.
I want Faith to turn on her camera. Wait for that. For most of us, going to school or work is grueling and tiresome. But imagine going to school or work on a completely empty stomach. The thought alone of this is painful. However, this is a reality for countless Americans. According to the USDA, more than 38 million people, including 12 million children, experience food insecurity. After volunteering at my local food bank, I decided to research food insecurity in the United States and how we can help end it. From my research, I found that food insecurity is a major problem in the United States, but it can be resolved or at least reduced if we take action against it. Today, I'll be sharing what food insecurity is, how it affects those who experience it, and 2 ways we can help take action against food insecurity. So what is food insecurity? According to the USDA, it is defined as a household level of economic and social condition of limited or uncertain access to food. Those who experience food insecurity may not have proper access to a variety of foods or may only have access to a reduced quality of food. Those who experience food insecurity may also experience a disrupted eating pattern because of a lack of food intake. Food insecurity is mainly an economic issue. According to Feeding America, food insecurity is mainly caused by poverty and unemployment. Those who are unemployed do not have a proper source of income to support themselves and put food on the table for themselves and their families. Those who live in poverty do not make enough money to put food on the table for themselves or their families. Next, I want to talk about how food insecurity affects those who experience it. Food insecure children are at a higher risk for developmental issues, poor health, and mental health issues. The National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey found that the odds of iron deficiency in children ages 12 to 15 was 2.95 times higher in food insecure children compared to food secure children. According to the Children's Health Watch, which was a study of over 40,000 kids ages 4 to 5, found that mothers of food insecure children were more likely to report 1 or 2 concerns relating to their child's development or growth. Food insecurity doesn't just affect physical health, it affects mental health as well. According to the Canadian National Longitudinal Survey of Children and Youth, it was found that the odds of depression and suicidal thoughts in children ages 14 to 15 were 2.3 times higher than children who were food secure. Now, in terms of adults, there's not much study or research done, but from what I found from a 2015 article about healthaffairs.org, it was found that food insecure adults were more likely to experience a decreased nutrient intake, mental health problems, diabetes, hypertension, poor sleep outcomes, and overall just poor or fair health. Now that I've shared what food insecurity is, how it affects those who experience it, I want to share 2 ways you can help fight against food insecurity in your communities. The first way is by volunteering at a local food bank. This is a really great way of fighting against food insecurity. It's a really direct and active way as well. Especially during COVID, food banks are in dire need of volunteers. Leslie Bacco, the CEO of Second Harvest of Silicon Valley Food Bank, tells KQED that we were already very dependent on volunteers, but especially at this time, we really need volunteers helping us box up food in a warehouse and then helping us at these distribution sites. The second way you can help fight against food insecurity in your communities is by donating. Most food banks accept food donations and money donations. You can also donate online to organizations that are helping the fight against food insecurity. But food banks in particular really appreciate money donations more than food donations, although of course they'll accept food donations. Leslie Bacco tells KQED that the reason is because food banks are able to strike deals and negotiations with food distributors and warehouses for cheaper priced food. So they're able to make most value out of your money than compared to if you were to buy food from Costco or any other grocery store and just donate it to the food bank. In conclusion, food insecurity is a major problem in the United States. It affects millions of people, leaves life-threatening effects on them, and although it is such a big issue, it can still be resolved or reduced if we all take action against it. If we all put in the effort to volunteer at our local food banks, donate money or food to our local food banks and organizations, we may be able to reduce the number of food insecure families in our communities. While it won't be an easy feat, we'll be at least one step closer to a less food insecure America. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kaylee, and today I'd like to talk to you about my topic, how exercise helps anxiety. I'd like to start off with a quote from the infamous Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, both actor and athlete. He says, "The sweat, the time, it pays off. You have to fight some bad days in order to earn the good days in your life." I personally have struggled from mental health problems and self-image comparisons in my life. Yet having incorporate exercise has helped me overcome these obstacles, better managing my emotions and as well as helping my physical health. My research is from the Better Health Channel and Harvard Health publications regarding what mental health issues we face and how exercise can help us with it. Today, I'd like to talk to you about an issue we may have had mentally, the ways exercise can help with this issue, and how we can incorporate it in our daily lifestyle. First, to start off with some of the struggles we may have faced or experienced in our lives. Have you ever felt your throat sore, hands shaky, or even feel your muscles tense up like body aches? This is called anxiety. We are guilty of trying to anticipate outcomes or things of situations, giving our body a flight or fight reaction, which causes our body to have these symptoms. Anxiety can be different for each individual, such as also causing difficulty with sleeping or breathing, also known as insomnia. Harvard Health medical Dr. John J. Rady found that having talked to college students found that 63% of them have felt tremendous anxiety. He also mentions that it could potentially lead to bigger issues, such as increasing a person's risk for other psychiatric disorders like depression. We face struggles both as regular people and students, trying to overcome obstacles of doing multiple things at once, facing personal issues, working, finance, and other things, causing us to anticipate outcomes. Having an outlet like exercise for these issues can help better manage our minds. Exercise has actually been proven to not only help our physical health, but help control our emotions and minds. Mr. Rady explains how the brain is helped in the process of exercise. He says, moving your body decreases muscle tension, lowering the body's contribution to feeling anxious. This is by your heart rate changing brain chemicals, causing the release of anti-anxiety neurochemicals, including serotonin. Serotonin is also known as a chemical stabilizing your emotions, also known as a happy feeling. I have felt this while exercising, whether that's on a treadmill, running, or weightlifting. I feel the sensation that I can do anything, and not only because I'm physically doing something, but because the flight or fight response in my brain signals the rest of my body to relax, which is the release of serotonin. Ways we can incorporate exercise can vary for each individual. I personally like to run and lift and reach new weightlifting goals each time I go to the gym. Other ways that someone can start is by taking walks, doing simple non-body weighted exercises, or even have a run with your dog or friend. By exercises, we can help our minds and bodies all together with the solution of exercising only 30 minutes a day. Exercise can help us better control our emotions, relax our brain, signaling our body's amygdala, which is our flight or fight response. It can even create a new hobby for us or self-care form. In conclusion, exercise is a great way with personal problems we may have, like anxiety. I have felt that it is a great way to release stress while working on myself. Exercise provides an outlet to control our bodies, which helps the center from our brain. Incorporating exercise only takes 30 minutes a day, whether that's walking with a friend or running with your dog. I like to end with a quote from, again, the infamous Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour, put in the work, put in hours, and take back what's ours. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nancia. You've probably heard of the saying, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And you're probably wondering why people say that. The answer actually lies in its name, and you're essentially breaking the fast that you've had throughout the night. Nutritionist Lisa Hill talks about breakfast and said, this much is clear. Skipping the morning meal can throw off your body's rhythm and fasting and eating. When you wake up, the blood sugar your body needs to make your muscles and brain work their best, the breakfast helps replenish it all. Many people skip breakfast regularly, and they don't realize how dangerous the effect is on the body. Today, I will be sharing with you the effects of skipping breakfast, the ideal time to eat breakfast, and the benefits of eating breakfast. Starting off with the effects of skipping breakfast. When you skip breakfast, you end up throwing off your body's rhythm. Skipping breakfast also causes migraines, and when you wake up in the morning, your sugar levels are already so low that when you skip your morning meal, your body will start to release hormones and they'll make up for the low sugar levels. The name of this process is called hypoglycemia, and it causes your blood pressure to rise, which leads to migraines and headaches. Your metabolism also ends up slowing down, and your body functions also start to slow down. You also end up missing out on key nutrients like vitamin C and calcium. Now that I've discussed the effects of skipping breakfast, let me share with you the ideal time to eat breakfast. So the best time to eat breakfast is within 2 hours of waking up, and it's a lot better for your metabolism if you eat early in the morning. This also lowers your hunger and cravings throughout the day. Now that you know about the ideal time to eat breakfast, let me share with you the benefits of eating breakfast. There are many different benefits when you eat a hearty breakfast every morning. It gives you fuel, nutrition, and energy from the carbs, and the protein will help you stay full until the next meal you have. It also improves your metabolism and helps your body better regulate its insulin levels. Research also shows that many breakfast foods like whole wheat breads, bagels, and fruits have fiber, and that fiber helps reduce the risk of colon cancer. Lastly, your immune system becomes a lot stronger, and by eating plenty of nutritious foods for breakfast, you're avoiding sickness, and it helps your digestion. It helps you end up with better digestion. Overall, looking at all the benefits of eating breakfast and the effects of skipping breakfast, we can see why it's the most important meal of the day. How often do you skip breakfast? Thank you.
Okay, so Brett Guthrie, an American businessman and politician, analytically states, rising healthcare costs makes it impossible to plan for the future, and that means it's impossible to hire more people. Everyone has been to the doctors at least once, or at least I hope so. And in my case, I went there as a child to get treatment for my eczema that I had as a child. Now, fortunately, I am glad that my doctor went into his genie wishing powers and granted me this magical boon that is this cream. But when I started to realize as to how much this cream cost, a couple $100, I began to realize that I'm truly grateful. And what about other people who may have more severe conditions, in which case the treatment costs more? Some of us have even paid for our own medications, and I'm sure that when we checked our own receipts, we must have realized that this receipt is no easy way to pay off. For almost if not all people, a person's healthcare is their most pressing concern, and charging a person money for their safety is definitely an issue that should be fixed in the near future. Today, I would like to talk about the problems within healthcare, a possible solution to help future generations, and finally the benefits that come with implementing such solutions. I would like to start off by talking about medicine, as it's currently too expensive, causing the already existing economic divide affecting the healthcare world as well. To start off, I'll go back to the 1920s, where the concept of healthcare started to become introduced. Here, hospitals were abandoned basically of sorts because treatment was way too expensive, and people only went to the hospitals if it was a life or death emergency. If they got a flu or a cold, they would just rather walk it off. But for other people as well, skipping these doctor appointments is not generally the best idea. So how do people tackle this problem? Well, lumber companies were actually the first to start off by implementing a such insurance method where they would pay off certain parts of the total bill. This allowed workers to actually go to the doctors and get a significantly reduced treatment, which is all the better for them. Furthermore, the currently existing Blue Shield also implemented such a insurance method for educators, where they paid a $525 plan for the hospital and only have the insurers or the educators pay only 50 cents. That is a huge discount that they are getting, and it really goes to show that how helpful insurance was. But on the other hand, it also highlights how expensive medicine can truly be, as people were originally skipping them, and even so, the amount of money that insurance have to pay is truly staggering. Now, if we jump back to current day society, we see that actually not much has changed. Unfortunately, medicine is still expensive and insurance is still costing around a huge portion of the bill. Currently, due to the Affordability Care Act, according to the California Health Insurance article, the current price that insurance pays off is 85 cents per dollar, implying that basically for every dollar that a hospital bill charges, insurance pays 85 and 15% comes out of the person's out of pocket. So that isn't exactly the very ideal situation, as ideally this 15% can quickly increase depending on the treatment. And especially for something costing around $2.1 million, it's a huge amount of money. And unfortunately, there are some medications that do cost around $2.1 million. Take, for example, Sarah Stranger's case, a educator in the state of Ohio. Unfortunately for her, her son was diagnosed with a disease called muscle atrophy, which left untreated causes their infant son to die at the young age of 2 years old. And now when the FDA released their medication, this medicine was costing around $2.1 million, an amount that neither Sarah Stranger knew nor she had in her bank account. So what was she supposed to do at this point? She took the high road and decided to talk with the medias, and unfortunately this helped her greatly, as it allowed the media companies to start realizing about this and waive her entire bill. Unfortunately for other families, they weren't so lucky, and they had to start off by either creating a GoFundMe account or ask other people, which ultimately didn't turn out well for them, unfortunately. Now, while medicine and healthcare in general remains expensive within the United States, let me now share with you a possible solution to solving expensive healthcare. Obviously, the most direct method would be to decrease hospital prices. Of course, simply bringing it down a price allows insurance to pay more of the percentage, and we allow ourselves to pay less for these bills. And for example, this instinct can directly be seen in the recent COVID-19 situations. Unfortunately here, COVID vaccines are free, and originally they weren't planning to be so. Unfortunately, companies have the power where they don't have any restrictions by the government. As told in an article by Chernew, Cutler, and Shaw, there are no government restrictions, and that's why they're allowed to charge any prices they want, such as the $2.1 million. And with these COVID vaccines, fortunately, they're free, and that's because of the Congress stipulant, where they force these companies to make them free, not charging anything. And this is super helpful, as it allows anyone to get the vaccine, a truly necessary medicine. Now, to play the devil's advocate side, what about the medical staff? While we're cutting down medical prices, it costs the opportunity for others, such as the hospital staff, who may work hard in designing the medicine and do rely on this money for their families and salaries and the like. I would like to take back to the example of the COVID vaccine, where fortunately this was free, but not all medicine has to be free. As long as it's significantly reduced, such as the government taking some action, it can cause some sort of benefit, and that's all the better for us. Cutting prices allows for everyone the opportunity to do inexpensive medicine, but how practical can this method prove to be? Two examples I would like to depict are the Affordability Care Act, which was a goal stipulated by the government. Essentially here, multiple benefits are laid out. For example, the ACA slows healthcare costs, boosts hiring in subsequent terms, and increases workers' paychecks. These are all three very good advantages, and the fact that such a government act is allowing such possibilities goes to show that how truly effective a government can truly be if they mitigate the healthcare costs. And speaking of government, I would like to also transition back to the Canada's government, where here the common saying is that Canada government is free. It's technically paid by the citizens' cost, but it goes to show that the government is taking some action, at least in this case. In an article cited by Tikkanen, Osborne, Masialis, and Wharton, there are in fact three different divisions in the government that mitigate the healthcare costs, which goes to show that healthcare truly has an important effect and consequence in that sense to the entirety of Canada. And government people are truly caring about what happens in this scenario. In conclusion, medicine doesn't have to be expensive, as its everlasting problem has a definite solution, which proved to have many benefits. What can we do to potentially solving this problem is by taking action, by petitioning to the government, making sure that they can also take some action. We've seen them do something with the COVID vaccine, and hopefully they can do something similar with future medication and the like. I'd like to end off a quote by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who empathetically says, "Healthcare is a human right. It means that every child, no matter where you're born, should have access to college or trade school education, if they so choose it. And I think no person should be homeless if we have public structures and public policy to allow for people to have homes and food." Thank you for listening.
My time. Okay. Over half of adults with a mental illness do not receive treatment. totaling over 27 million adults in the US who are going untreated. Over 60% of youth with major depression do not receive any mental health. These are alarming statistics from the Mental Health America website. Therefore, mental health treatment should be mandatory, whether the symptoms are slight or severe. Mental health should be prioritized just as much as physical health. We are living in a time where mental health awareness is coming to light, yet there's a lack of treatment for many who are living with mental health problems. One thing that we all have in common is that we all have mental health, yet everyone's different and goes through a process differently. So what motivated me to raise awareness on this issue is that I have been struggling with my mental health throughout my life, and I have yet to find a solution that has progressed my mental health to its full potential. In moments of sudden distress, it isn't easy to get immediate help. And I'm not the only one going through this, as the statistics I previously stated revealed the alarming those who did not receive treatment for mental illness. And the COVID-19 pandemic has brought troubling times for individuals all over the country, and it comes to show how much mental health can affect people and how they function on a daily basis. I am passionate about raising mental health awareness as there is a stigma surrounding this issue, and I came across credible sources that are psychological and scientific studies. So therefore, quality mental health treatment should be mandatory and easily available for everyone. Today, I will be raising awareness on the mental health crisis that has yet to be solved, and I will bring up the causes and effects of mental health problems. Finally, I will bring up the mandated mental health services that, my solution that I brought up. So now that you have an idea of what I will be talking about, I will first talk about the ongoing issue we are facing in regards to the mental health crisis. So first of all, there is a rise of youth mental health crisis due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In a New York Times article, Surgeon General warns of youth mental health crisis published in 2021. It states that the nation's top physician, Dr. Vivek H. Murthy, in a 53-page report noted that the pandemic intensified mental health issues that were already widespread by the spring of 2020. The report cited significant increases in self-reports of depression and anxiety, along with more emergency room visits for mental health issues. In the United States, emergency room visits for suicide attempts rose 51% for adolescent girls in early 2021, as compared to the same period in 2019. The figure rose 4% for boys. So globally, not just, in this country, symptoms of anxiety and depression doubled during the pandemic. In addition, there was a rise of depression and anxiety in adults. A new research from Boston University School of Public Health reveals that the elevated rate of depression has persisted into 2021 and even worsened, climbing to a 32.8%, and affecting 1 in every 3 American adults. So with uneasy times and societal pressure, this can lead to mental health problems, and it is difficult to function on a daily basis when there is damage within. Furthermore, there is a stigma and a lack of education surrounding mental health, which prevents people from reaching out for help. There's nothing wrong with having mental health problems. It's just that, there's a stigma surrounding it, which prevents people from reaching out for help. Like I said, you could also get treated, whether it is, minor or severe. But now that I have raised awareness of mental health crisis that affects millions of youth and adults, I will talk about the effects of disregarding mental health when care is needed, as there needs to be a sense of urgency regarding mental health. And there are various negative effects of mental health, such as long-term damage. This issue may be minor at first, but it is the little things that add up to a big issue. So what are the effects of untreated mental health disorders? When mental health problems do not get solved, according to an article in Desert Hope Treatment Center published in 2020 titled "The Potential Dangers of Untreated Mental Health Disorder," it can lead to worsening issues, the development of long-term physical issues, decreased quality of personal relationships, other decreased quality of life issues, increased potential for incarceration, substance abuse, and suicide. So as you can see, these are big issues that started off with something that was small. So if you're able to get the help that you need when the symptoms are still minor, it can help prevent, you know, these harmful effects from occurring in your life. So there is a lack of easy access to mental health services, and also counseling and therapy is not readily available during sudden moments of distress. And many aspects in life may cause mental health problems, so the list varies, but things such as unresolved trauma or stressful events in life can be those aspects that add up to something big. So now that I have covered the causes of mental health problems and the effects of untreated mental health, I will talk about the solution to fixing this ongoing issue. So providing on-site counseling and therapy in the workplace and school campuses can be very helpful, as you know, you have so if you're going through something when you're at work or school and you're able to talk to someone, to a professional right away, that would be amazing. Because have you guys ever, you know, went to work and there's just a lot going on in your head and you feel very heavy and you feel like you need to vent, but you don't want to, you know, spread that energy to everybody else? Well, this can be very beneficial, as well as it can also open more careers in the psychology field. And providing easy access to mental health services will help as many mental health, because for reasons such as therapy being too expensive, like insurance not yet enough sessions, or quality therapists being difficult to get a hold of during tough times, or the stigma surrounding mental health. So educating others is very important. Late diagnosis change one's life for the better, so it's not too late. And understanding how your brain works is significant, and therapy or having access to a psychology can help you have a better understanding of yourself. So on in a article posted by Medicine Net, What Are the Benefits of Therapy, published in 2021, there are life-changing effects of getting the help that you need. Therapy helps develop coping skills. It may help improve relationships with others, your relationship with yourself. It increases productivity, improves physical health. It also it helps you adapt to changes in your life. So these are all significant elements of life, and providing therapy or treatment to those with mental health problems, whether it is minor or severe, can really go a long way and change lives for the better. So in conclusion, quality mental health should be maintained, and mental health problems should be treated. Mental health services should be mandated for everyone, as everyone has mental health in common. As we are going through a mental health crisis, many are not taking care of this problem. This leads to the harmful effects of untreated mental health disorders. Therefore, mandating mental health services for everyone will ensure that no one is left behind. Everything that you do requires the brain to function, so mental health is just as important as physical health. We cannot properly function if the damage is not cared for, so don't neglect your health. Thank you.